An oil vessel on fire, the Gulf of Oman. Then oil prices also go up on fire early this morning. Coming from around $60 a barrel for the Brent crude this morning, we've seen 61 and still climbing as we speak. The U.S. West Texas Intermediate up nearly 3% just a few minutes ago. It actually charged 3.01%, raising above $52 a barrel because of that and some geopolitical news, including the U.S. oil supply to the marketplace. All of these ahead of the OPEC meeting in just about a week or so from now. Keep that in mind, everyone. So let's talk to which Nigeria's marketplace. This is the first trading day after the Democracy Day. So we're done and dusted with politics, as it were. Let's get down to business and serious marketplace conversation. Let's get Adekabi Adenuga, who is an FX dealer with FSDH Merchant Bank, into this conversation. Good morning, bright and early to see you on the market street. Let's chat to the currencies market. Adekabi, bring us up to speed.
Good morning, Bosin. Bearing in mind that all the holidays are over and then we're back to full swing in the market, we will continue to see the usual in the FX space where CBN would continue to intervene at the wholesale and the SME and the invisible interventions, where we'll see a total of, at the beginning of the week, we saw the wholesale SMIs being conducted and also the SME and the invisible intervention. So total injection into the market has been about 210 for those options, while we expect the result of the retail auction that was conducted last week to be released today. So, we'll continue to see those flows coming to the market. At the I&E space, we've seen the market remain stable. And being that last week and this week, last week was a short week and this week is equally a short week, you would notice a slight reduction in the volume at the I&E window, where we saw a total turnover last week of about $790 million. And this week so far, we've seen about $395 million turnover at the I&E window. But as the week progresses, we expect that, the market volumes continue to stabilize and go back to what they were before.
Yes, Adekemi, for you and the rest of your colleagues who are on the currency street, I'm sure you've talked to each other since yesterday or day before yesterday when the issue about whether we're floating the naira, whatever. What is the conversation out there? What is everybody talking about? And as you open the stations, the ticker tape this morning, what are you looking at as far as the exchange rate is concerned?
Concerning that, the CBN is still committed to, fully committed to exchange rate stability. So, we're still towing the line of the multiple exchange rate policy that has been placed, that has been worked, and it has worked fantastically for our economy. There's no change in the market. The CBN governor has come out to say there's no change in policy. So we won't see much difference in the activity in the market. As we go into the second quarter of the year, we would expect that we'll see some more improved activity in the FX space. So, we'll see increased liquidity at the I&E window with regards to inflows from especially foreign investors that come into Nigeria. So, all of that conversation is not, the CBN has come out and then they've spoken and, everything just remains the same.
Okay.
So CBN is still committed to exchange rate stability. There's no...
Okay, so this morning as we get in today started, looks quiet and stable out there at the FX marketplace?
Yes, the market will still continue to remain stable with rates hovering around 360 and 360.5 at the I&E window, and then the CBN will continue with its usual intervention. Like I mentioned earlier, we're expecting results of the retail SMIs. Usually retail SMIs volume is usually around $290 million. By the time that injection comes into the market, the market will remain stable and, would trade at the normal rates that we've been at.
Okay, you need to get back to business. It's the first day after holiday. Don't let me keep you here much longer. Adekemi Adenuga, FX dealer at FSDH Merchant Bank. Thank you so much from FMDQ Exchange Place. Let's talk about the equities market a little bit. Just a notice coming through this morning from Portland Payne saying he's appointing a new non-executive director. But it's also the first trade day after the Democracy Day. Andy Sako, who's a trader at Capital Care Trust Securities, is live to us from the stock exchange trading floor. Good morning, Andy. is going to see you. The democracy day is over. We have the executive in place. We have the legislature. What are you looking at this morning as the first trading day after all the politics, elections, and everything?
Well, so much so to talk about the political space coming from the exercise of the democracy day, as it were. But there's a lot of takeaway from such a day, given the fact that the issues around June 12 and all that seem to have largely been addressed. Therefore, giving some level of leverage or mileage, as it were, to the political landscape, and upon which a lot of economics, is hinged. And to that extent, whether it's sheer coincidence or the excitement that comes from the aura from that, today the market trading so far is in the positive as we speak, 14 inches up compared to where we were before yesterday. So I think that sentiment going forward should be focused a lot more about the economics of the Nigerian economy, having fairly settled quite a number of the agitating issues around the political space, particularly issues of the value of democracy that we've been well acquainted with. So I do think that the presidential speech particularly was spot on. There's a ray of hope and confidence. And given the fact that much of it is centered about lifting the hope of the average Nigerian, indeed, if I'm to quote the president, there's a looking forward to elevating 100 million of us out of the poverty scale. That would do a lot of turning, should that would be achieved within the time horizon that has been defined. So for me, I think it's good, and I think the market emotions this morning seem to suggest a congruence in that direction.
Okay, well said, Andy. So as we start the final 2 trading days of this week, what stocks or sectors are you focusing on, and why are you doing so?
The market offers great potential, as we do say all the time. The key sectors, as we always want to also identify, remain the banking space, where you've got a lot of command in terms of attraction. The industrial space does present its own value. The consumer space, also does the same. I think, given the government tilt towards enhancing agricultural production and investments, including its funding, particularly coming from the central bank with respect to agriculture, that space certainly should present some great hope going into the future because of the galvanized synergy that is expected to come from there. So the likes of Presco and Okomo should continue to remain upbeat in the basket of picks. Overall, the insurance sector still remains dampened by lackluster performance, whether it's in terms of overall performance of individual companies or it's in the scope of business they are acquainted with. So on the whole, I think the market is largely depressed in terms of prices at the moment. That to me suggests great hope for those who are willing and able to take position at current price levels.
Okay, I'll find out one. And quickly, the shareholders of Owando says they are not happy with the SEC, with the way the regulator has handled Owando's problems so far. And that was at a press briefing yesterday. What are you hearing on the ground, Mr. Andy? What's your position on that? What's your outlook?
Yeah, generally, what you should be looking forward to in times like this is all the stakeholders, in a matter of understanding to be squarely involved and be watching the permutations whichever direction it is tilted. But we must not forget one thing. The Securities Commission has a mandate to protect the same investors that we're talking about. That is their primary constituency. Indeed, whatever actions the Securities and Exchange Commission is wont to take is with the intention to secure investors' interests primarily. And to that extent, we must give them the necessary backup, leverage, and acceptability. However, their role does not go strictly within the ambit of regulation, but it's also supervisory. And that also includes the fact that they must take into consideration all interested parties in the matter.
Well said, Andy. Thank you so much for winning this morning. Have a profitable trading day. Let's wrap it up here, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next 24 hours. That's tomorrow, Friday, wrapping up the market and business week from here.